Week 5, Day 1 continues now, or at least starts, because that last match was incredibly quick. And we're getting on to IG versus LF. TheDing versus Zhoulang. I've not seen TheDing play before. I had a look through his results and records and such like, and does seem to be a little bit behind most of the other players in this event. Zhoulang, you may remember, he was absolutely trounced by Ulov 3-0 against Ulov Zhu, who just kept drawing scrap imps. Then took a 3-2 win in his second match. So now we're going to get to see what he's like, you know, when he's settled a bit. Well, we might get another quick one here. Just more Druids. We've already seen Lion get Druided today. Whose turn is it going to be in this one? It's his last hero standing. So, winning that first match game, you could get yourself all the way through. Both Demon Hunters banned here. TheDing has got Warrior, which is the meaty variety, and his Priest, whereas Zhoulang has got Highlander Hunter and also the meaty Warrior. That Warrior deck. Very, very powerful against this Druid deck in particular. This is the version with not many dragons. And so Risky Skipper just destroys multiple boards, and it's also fast enough to just beat the Druid down before he gets established. So both players here battling to be the first one to make a Glowfly board, and TheDing not messing around, not worried about innovating this out. He wins that battle. 6 Glowflies is a large number, and Zhoulang just languishing back, really, getting the mana, but it is 7 mana versus 3, so maybe he can just hold on in here. Oh, it's a Soul of the Fires for TheDing, so now Zhoulang's got to clear it all twice. We'll be able to heal most of this up with the Overflow, I guess. Try and get himself a way to deal with this before TheDing just picks up a Savage Roar. But we've already had a match like this today. It didn't take long at all. Looks like TheDing is just going to get a really quick start here. So, Zhoulang paying a little bit of attention to the fact it was possible there to play the Overgrowth, get to 10 mana, and then play the Overflow next turn and try and use the 3 mana. Obviously, when you sort of say it out loud, that sounds kind of rubbish, and so he didn't do that. No problem with that. Ding now catching up on the mana though. But doesn't have any card draw. I guess he has the Wrath, which he may end up using. But threatening lethal pretty much from now onwards. And Zhoulang throwing out Ysera. Just a little bit of resistance. But between the Crystal Powers and the Wraths and the Bog Beams, shouldn't provide too much issue for TheDing, although it's not the easiest thing to get through, so he's going to draw himself another card first to see if he can just pick up a Savage Roar. Mount Cellar's good to go next turn. I wonder if that means he wants to pass here now for one turn. Definitely a possibility. Because next turn will be a crazy Mount Cellar. I guess the other side of that is you might as well not pass, right? You might as well just use these, trade into the Ysera, and then next turn you can just Mount Cellar and get everything back. Zhoulang not really with any plan at all here. So he does have double Fungal Fortunes. That's something he can do. Try and get some monsters on his side, some dragons. Just mind picking up an Iron Bark or something along the way. His second one it would be. Because he's got to feel like he just dies under most conditions here. Nethwandamus. It's just an 8/8. It's nice and all that. So I assume he's going to sort of dump a card or two, getting rid of some of these 2/2s, and then do the same again. Try and draw some more dragons to prop up the board. If he can get a turn, I guess he can turn this around. Starting with a big minion on his side, maybe, just maybe, he can get it done. There's a second portal, so things are getting a bit more serious. And there's a third portal. And suddenly Zhoulang looks to have turned the corner. Be careful what I say, because TheDing now has Mount Seller turn. He has the option to play a Giant Ysera instead and do exactly what Zhoulang has just done. Does pick up the Savage Roar. So Ding is going to do what he was planning for last turn, which is Bog Beam and Mount Seller everything to generate a huge board. Trying to work out, I think he's taking his time here on purpose to work out what he wants to Iron Bar. Makes sense to force Zhoulang to go through the Cobra. And now with a Savage Roar in hand, TheDing, if he can get to the start of his turn intact, will win the game. But Zhoulang has a bajillion options here. Another player who takes his hand off the mouse to think. And there's a lot to think about here. He can definitely set up a massive board. He's got the Glowfly Swarm and all that to do that with. But he must know that he's very close to being dead, so needs to deal with a large chunk of this opposing board. Curious as to how he structures this turn. So he's going to pick off some of the easier minions to kill off. Make more space to draw another card. We're down to 6 mana. Another Wild allows him to... I was going to say allows him to kill off the Cobra more easily, but that's fine, he doesn't need to do it this way. He's going to get rid of the Mount Seller. This is a big, big deal. Is there anything better, any better target than the Mount Seller to get rid of? Can't think of one. Shame for him that he can't quite make the numbers work. So he's going to have to put both of these in there. Oh! But cycling there into the 12-12. The Deathwing Mad Aspect. And 13. Is there lethal there? There's not. 5 plus 6 is only 11. And somehow TheDing might lose this game of Hearthstone. I feel like Innovate and Hero powering down the 4-1 is a thing you can do here. This does set up lethal though. Putting the onus back on Zhoulang to do something. Well, kind of. But he can just clear the board and play Glowflies. He can even play Glowflies and Soul of the Forest, but he may want the space on his board. He may want to cycle to draw a card, lacking in Taunt, low on health. But I think he's just fine, to be honest. The Gift of the Wild should allow him to set up a nice easy lethal here. Shouldn't be able to take 11 from hand, so yeah, Zhoulang says kill this lot or I'm going to Gift of the Wild you. Card we don't see that much of anymore. There aren't many taunty dragons. I think we've seen at least one Moonfire. TheDing looking like he's going to end up losing this game that he was so far ahead in. But Zhoulang, with the mana advantage for a couple of turns, managed to do okay. And that's just it. Ding's going to have to pass and hope it all goes away. No real reason to innovate out the mount so that if you are alive next turn, at least you've got the innovate to make a beast with. Yeah, he just gives it up. He must have been dead on board. I thought maybe he wasn't quite, but we knew he was dead anyway from the hand. 1-0 to Zhoulang. Like this play out more and more the more I see of him. Druid versus the Priest. The Priest does have quite a lot of good tools, obviously, with Breath of the Infinite to deal with Druids. I'm going to check actually. I think there's no Holy Novas in this version. Let's have a look at Ding's exact list. Yeah, no Holy Nova. It's exactly as you would expect. So just the Breath of the Infinite, Soul Mirror are the big deals. But also endless removal spells and general shenanigans in this Galacon Priest. Nice enough hand for Zhoulang, goes quite well. Interesting he didn't want to innovate into Wild Growth. Happy to take it slowly. Picks up his Zera, that gives him a decent chance now of getting going. And Ding not able to exert any of his own pressure, that can sometimes be an issue. Oh, he didn't emote, man! The light shall burn you before doing that. Thanks. For future reference. Zhoulang with no card draw is becoming a bit of an issue. Alright, Ding decides to occupy the board. It's not going to reduce the cost of anything. But it just acts as a removal. Every single minion you can get on the board acts as a removal spell when things start to matter. But Zhoulang with his 9 mana that turn, counting the innovate, just going to have constant dragons throughout the course of the game. Plus, of course, a 4/12. Shape and size that priests do not enjoy dealing with, especially when they don't have a time rip in their hand, which is the situation TheDing finds himself in now. Overflow. Just in case you wanted more dragons. Well, here's some more dragons. Let's find out what he gets. Okay. Just a Malygos, but the rest of his pickups were fantastic here. Fungal Fortunes included, Mount Sellers. This is looking really good. All deteriorated a bit at the end there. Not wanting to burn a card. So, Malygos contributing to a massive kill there. And TheDing needs to do something, or he's going to end up going the same way as Lion, with a 3-0 defeat to Druid. I didn't expect that to happen at the start of the day, just to watch Druid tearing through people. So a death there, alongside the Sethek, so might be able to roll into some more removal. Zhoulang should be in a good spot. One of the issues here for the Priest is that Soul Mirror doesn't really do the job against so much of this stuff. Dragons tend, unless they're 8/8s, tend to have just a bigger health than their attack. And that's not good for Soul Mirrors. Getting the most out of this Malygos, using the crystal power as well. Malygos is on the board. Plenty of stuff going on. Zhoulang plays at a really good pace as well. Makes me happy to watch. Doesn't play too slow, doesn't play too fast. I'm usually very critical of players' pace of play. But Zhoulang seems to have found a way of getting most of his turn done and then using the rest of the time to think and not getting himself into trouble because of it. Using the Moonfire for 6 damage while he can. Prioritising that over Kel'Thas and Mount Ceres. That's quite interesting. Obviously, he's not going to have that around forever, and if he does, he'll just win, because that means that Malygos is around forever. But just curious how he prioritised all that. Well, Moonfire here will allow a clear... Will there be a lethal? It feels like there's a lethal here and I just can't see it. Yeah, with the Power of the Wild, it's easy. Double Power of the Wild, it's really easy. Anything you like can attack anything you like and win here, I think. Even Moonfire to the face and trading an 8-6 works. And the ding is 2-0 down, and I don't really know what to say. I've just spent an hour of my life saying that Druid wins, and guess what? Druid wins. Neither player with any achievements. That makes me sad. Dingo does get to play the warrior. I was sort of surprised he didn't queue this immediately, saving the priest for his opponent's warrior, to be honest. I just think that warrior is so good against druid. Particularly this build. The dragon druid, not so much. Because those taunts are quite difficult for warrior to get through and not waste too much resources. But this build of druid, Risky Skipper does tear it apart quite hard. Zhoulang not picking up any ramp. That could be a big issue. You don't want to get too far behind against warrior here. Ding's gonna be able to... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say he's gonna be able to just freely develop however he wants, but suddenly, yeah, pick up of an overgrowth, and the game takes a massive turn in the other direction. I want to see the Lance here. He doesn't need to think out the Pyres, it's fine to do so. Does mean that he gets second skipper if possible ready. Means he'll be able to clear waves of glowfly swarms. But the glowfly swarms are not forthcoming. In fact, not much is forthcoming here for Zhoulang. It's pretty rare for Druid not to put the pieces together at all by this stage. Whether it wins or not is a different question, but nothing doing here. Glowflies are ready to go, but it's a little bit late. Well, I say it's a bit late. He's only done 3 damage. Doesn't have a rampage or anything in hand, so maybe Zhoulang is going to get this 3-0 sweep here. Ding getting greenskin. We'll want to get that Lance down next turn and the greenskin the turn after. That's quite a long way off. But Zhoulang has whiffed on his 7 mana minions. And the extra 1 turn here could be gigantic for the Ding. One more mana, Zhoulang will be able to Glowfly and Soul. And sometimes that survives. But you know your opponent has double skipper a large percentage of the time now. Or a decent percentage of the time. With Ankar plus keeping stuff. It's a green skin version, so he maybe only has one skipper. So Zhoulang will be trying to work a strategy that beats one skipper, I guess. And that would be... He could Glowfly now, but the trouble is that allows a very cheap brute to play the skipper. You really don't want to leave injured minions lying around on the warrior board. Doesn't like using up his Naught mana spells because his outs involve Kel'Thas, they involve Mount Seller, and of course both those minions require those cheap spells. So actually he's just basically done nothing this turn. And that's a good decision. Doing nothing, as I always say, is one of the hardest things to do in all of Hearthstone. So 8 mana is a 12-point combo with Korkan Elite. TheDing has got the information now that Zhoulang is struggling, so we'll be looking to put the pressure on. Nothing really you want here. You probably take Ysera just because Dream exists and maybe you get to do something. Unless you actually find a way to play the 5/4. Yeah. Puts down the risky skipper. Is that because there's a lethal available? Yes, it is. It means that next turn, if this isn't dealt with, which if it's not dealt with, then what's going on? Korkan Elite plus Mercenaries is only 7 mana, and that would be lethal as it stands right now. I think 5-out was the first to say always put your opponent to lethal if you can. Now that holds true surprisingly often. When I first heard it, I was like, well, why? But this is an exact situation where that matters. You're stopping Zhoulang from being able to do what he wants sometimes here. As it happens, he has found a way through it, but you've also forced him to do this. He's had to stop waiting. Now, the problem here with this plan is that Ding now needs to do 4 points of skipper damage. I mean, there's ways of doing it with copying skippers with mercenaries. I don't think there's any way through for lethal. Is there? Perhaps there is. Perhaps there is. I can see what I think is exact. You trade in the 3 minions that aren't the skipper. You play the Korkan. That's only 15 because the skipper needs to live. Well, this will get it done. I'm now fascinated as to what's going on. I think he's got this worked out so that the brute costs 0 in the end. I'm not sure if there was a lethal there or not, but this will do. My way only got to 15, I think. Because there was no way of defending your skipper. And it needed to go face. So the TheDing there finding a play that not only worked, but seems to set up lethal in the next turn in a lot of situations. Very irritating the way that Overflow heals up all the opposing minions. TheDing would love that to have been injured. He has 14 available, so if you can just injure this. Yeah, don't do that. That would be exact lethal if he does that, although he would armor up, so he'd go 1 off, I think. Yeah. This makes more sense to me. So just getting a chunk of damage, and I assume he's going to evolve the brute at the end of turn to see what he finds as well. Good chance he's better than a 5/8. Occasionally goes wrong. Yep, 5-10s are better than 5-8s. Full board. And Zhoulang's already made one big comeback with Druid, but I don't think he's going to make this one a second. There's just too much damage available, plus the hand now. And it is going to go to 2 games to 1. And Zhoulang only with the Hunter and his own Warrior. The Warrior's obviously pretty much 50-50. I think there's no card difference at all. Let me have a quick look. And the Hunter is strongly favoured for the Warrior. Well, I think it's strongly favoured. Others might tell you it's just favoured. Let's use the clicking. They are definitely different, but spotting the differences on the setup I have, not necessarily the easiest. So Ding only has one... No, they both only have one Korkron. One Tolvir for Ding, one... Can't find the difference. It's going to drive me nuts. Oh, okay. It's easy. It's an egg for Zhoulang and a Tolvir for Ding. Why didn't I just wait? Then I'd have seen the egg. It would have been easy. Not the start you're looking for. Armour Smiths are interesting though. They stay injured quite well. Quite hard to remove after being injured, but nowhere near the hand you want. And nowhere near the hand Ding wants. But the advantage is he has got a weapon. And usually how this Warrior match goes is one person gets a distinct advantage early, and if the other one can weather it, the second person will win, because the first one will burn out all of their resources trying to get over the finishing line. I say usually, there's many ways it can pan out. But this one at the moment is more a case of who can find something to do. Zhoulang does have some choices available to him next turn. In the right situation, so some good top decks available at least. Mercenaries would be handy. Terran would be fine. It's only 2 cards named, but it's 3 out of his 25 in the deck. It's not too bad. And Ding. See any reason not to play the Pirate. It's always handy to have those 1-mana minions, but I guess he's considering whether to play an Armour Smith instead. I've got to put something on the board. Just having things around is good. Well, now the game becomes a lot more clear. Zhoulang is able to Inner Rage, and Rampage and go for it. This doesn't always end how you want it to, and it's quite often gets just wiped out by the opposition. Ding, let's say, will take 15, maybe even 20 here, but maybe get some armor back along the way. Doesn't mean it is over by any means, but it does now form exactly how the rest of this is going to pan out. Going to the face. So obviously trying to pick up a decent lackey there. The reason I'm pondering about that is it's now very difficult to kill this egg. If you take a lot of damage, you probably just die, to be fair. But under the right circumstances there, at least, maybe he goes to the egg next turn if he has to. I guess. I just panic when I see these 5/5s and try and kill them. Because you know that if you get through it, you're okay. But the Ding decided not to just self-combust. Obviously you halve the time available to you if you start attacking into these things. Zhoulang, though, showing what he thinks is the important thing here, is the health total. Not wanting to turn this into a 7-4. Just happy as a 5-5, preserving it as long as he can. He knows it probably won't get over the line. Ding just urgently needs a way to activate these armor smiths, and it's game on. I think that's what we're seeing here. He's just going really wide, and if he picks up a risky skip or an Ankar, at least he's got the board available to get his armor back. Wasn't actually interested in taking this down. So next turn he can get rid of the egg, and with the evasive worm he could also get rid of the serpent, or the other way around. Either way, both parts will be gone. So I'm going to make it as hard as possible to remove that serpent. Picks up the kobold lucky. That does give him the opportunity to kill off the other 1/2 if he wants to. But also Armor Smith is now a card he can put on the board. Reasoning for that is that if the Ding is putting a 4/2 into the Armor Smith to kill it, the 4/2 is not going into the egg. And really for the Ding, it's all about not dying here. He can play 2 Armor Smiths and make some trades. It's actually possible. But that would leave up a Serpent. And I'd like to see the Serpent gone. Obviously Ding is scared of the bad things that can happen, but yeah, this just seems right. Get rid of the Serpent. Don't worry too much about the opposing armor. If you start killing Zhoulang here, if you do get in front, the armor just vanishes, and you're starting to see what I was talking about at the start of the game now. Although that helps, that the person who gets rolling isn't necessarily the person who wins. Decision time for Zhoulang. You can do 8 to the face. You might see him swing first to see where he ends up. And I think with this pick of the Titanic Lackey, we're going to see another Inner Age Rampage, because this Titanic Lackey makes the Armor Smith really hard to kill. He's seen how hard the Ding had it killing off the egg, and this makes the decision that much easier because of the extra health. And Ding, a small shake of the head there. Starting to look like IG are going to fall down to 5 and 4. This was their chance to catch up with VK. VK losing earlier in the day. Lion getting steamrolled by Druids. But IG not going to be able to pick up on it. And it seems like whoever's got the fewest number of wins just wins. It's been like that last week as well. This divisional table, assuming here that LF just close this out, there's going to be like almost nothing in it. 6 and 3 is going to be top of the table. I don't even know what's bottom now. 3 and 5. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, it will be Liquid and Sunning on 3 and 5, along with Lucky Future, who are about to get off that, most likely. But not quite yet. Looks like Ding's found a way to stay alive. He needs to find 5 damage Zhoulang. It's not that likely, which means he's going to have to find something else before this one is over. How about drawing some more cards? How will that help? Probably quite well. Yeah, Corsair Cash, have some of that. See which weapon you get and then decide where you're going to shove it. Armor Smith goes face, because it does. Then work out what you want to do with the rest of your materials. Taking down the enemy Armor Smith. Always important. You have to do it, otherwise you can't win the game. They gain armor quicker than you can reduce it. And it's one of the things you hate to do. Absolutely despise getting rid of Armor Smiths. They're such hard work. And Ding has another one. And this is not over at all. I've said that once already, but It looked like Zhoulang had stabilised again with that second Inner Age and Rampage. But Ding once again is fighting back. Could have drawn an extra card here. It would have involved doing these trades first, then putting a 1-2 into the Kobold Lackey, and then he wouldn't be able to use the card he picked up if it was of use. It cost him a card, but cards aren't his problem now, it's time. Deathwing looks like he's going to get the job done, which is quite rare. You usually find Deathwing gets Deathwinged or similar in this matchup. Going to get taken down by the Brute, maybe? It's getting a bit low for the Ding, but Zhoulang is out of stuff. Sky Raiders can be big here. They can sometimes get you your weapon back, or just make a 4-4 that can get over the finishing line. You just don't want Skycap and Crag. It's usually the worst of all. Ding sits back as if it's over, but not yet. It's a big pickup though. I think we might just see Zhoulang going quite wide here. Captain. How many things do you want? Does he even want to play a skipper maybe? So he could play one more challenger, the captain, and one skipper, and just... Oh, he's going to get a better minion. He's going to get Greenskin. Because Ding is on such a low health, so this could be lethal. Not yet. Yeah, because Ding is on such a low health total, he's able to play... Zhoulang is able to play captains and such like, just to threaten lethal so easily. And Terron might even have a part to play here. Takes another breath. Wait, is that another breath? One of the working with pictures that I see all the time is they look slightly different in golden sometimes. It is a nether breath. Alright, Ding going to get a lot more armour here if he wants to. Trying to work out if he wants to have a horde of 2 health armour smiths or less attacking 1 health armour smiths. Actually not an easy choice. But I think he's decided that he needs that inner age to win with a combo later of some sort. He needs these cards. And he's safe again. Zhoulang is going to have a good board soon, but more irritating armor smiths. If he wants to, he can match Ding in cards, or he can try and run Ding out of stuff now. It's not quite there, so we'll probably see him taking the cards, but you do sometimes hit a point in these mirror matches where you can fatigue them quite literally. You quite literally just counter everything they try and do to you. But Zhoulang did use quite a lot of resources early on, so I think that means he has to keep pressing. And that's what we're seeing. He's going all in for more cards. It's absolute nonsense sometimes. Picks up the Grom. I don't think he needs to injure his own minions enough here just to play a 5-8. You just leave that out there. Force Ding, who's now out of armor smiths, to deal with this lot, which he probably can. Can he do it and actually retain a good board? We saw him do well against the Druid in that regard, killing off a wide board of Soul of the Forested minions. Can he do it now? Getting rid of the captain would help with a weapon first, maybe. Obviously getting rid of the captain would make no difference whenever you do it. Clears the board, sets up a board. Easy. Still got a decent hand left as well. 27 left to do. That damage can come thick and fast later on. Has a rampage. But I think this is his only Corcoran Elite. That's a big deal because he can't now Corcoran Inner Rage, Rampage, Mercenaries, all that good stuff. Yeah, this is his only Corcoran Elite. So even though it looks like he's in a fairly good spot, actually he's running out of ways to deliver damage. And Zhoulang's taking advantage of that and putting, once again, a massive board down. And the Ding's going to be down to playing defense. Zhoulang's used all of his skippers and all of his inner rages, so activating Grommash isn't going to be particularly easy. Ding looking for some help though. If he doesn't find it, he's just going to get run over here. It's a little bit of health. 19. 7 on the board. And with no way of activating all these, it's just a little irritating for Zhoulang. But he is still coming in for large amounts of damage. So he can get something to ping this Grommash with. Nope. But just making life as hard as possible for the Ding. If the Ding wants to clear this, he's going to have to find a brawl or something. Just getting through it with whirlwind type effects, even if he can find those, he's not going to do it. It looks like Zhoulang is going to take a lucky future to 4 and 5. Future the team that VK dodged in this round, or chose to dodge. This is looking like the throes of somebody desperate to find anything. It's just not there. I can't even see what is the point here. Okay. 7 on the board. Opposing health is 7. Zhoulang, a very well measured performance once again, goes to 3-1, and we're going to see more of this young man later in the week. I can't wait to see him.